this, we come to the next section on the changes which have recently happened. So as far as cancellation of registration is concerned, the government has laid down additional circumstances like availment of ITC in contravention of Section 16 or corresponding rules, where figures of GSTR 1 and 3B are not matching, where Rule 86B has been violated. Similarly, for suspension of registration, if there are significant differences or anomalies between GSTR 1 and 3B, ITC availed in 3B versus 2A, 2B, and any other analysis which is recommended by GST Council, so the registration can be suspended. Very importantly, and which has been very much talked about, that the suspension of registration can happen even before, even without proper officer giving an opportunity of hearing to the taxpayer. So you'll see that the GST law is becoming much more complicated, and even though the government's intent might be that only cover fraudulent taxpayers, etc., but it is unsaid that these provisions, or I'll say draconian provision, these can be misused against genuine taxpayers as well, even in bona fide disputes. Moving ahead, what other changes have happened? The only welcome changes that has happened is that ITC on debit note. Now the relevant time limit will start from the date of debit note rather than the period to which it relates. Therefore, as far as debit notes are concerned, whatever are issued post 1st January 2021, the credit will be available even if they pertain to the earlier periods. GSTR 99C for 2019-20, the date has been extended to February 28, 2021. Just 2-month extension has been granted. So it means now the government seems to be coming on track for these annual returns, etc. Another very important change, more from a logistic perspective, that validity of e-way bill, it has been reduced. Earlier for 1 day, 100 kilometer was permitted. Now it is 200 kilometers. So it will necessitate that the goods are transported well within time. Otherwise, the issues relating to cancellation of way bills, etc., will come up. Again, not a welcome step. The offenses and penalties provisions have been significantly enhanced. The person who retains benefit of certain transactions, be it ITC, etc., or on whose instance these transactions are conducted, those can also be penalized, apart from the people who take ITC or who issue invoices in the following situations, where supply has been made without invoice or the invoice is incorrect or false, where invoice or bill of supply is without supply, where ITC has been claimed without actual receipt of the goods, and in cases involving improper availment or distribution of ITC under ISD. Again, similar to registration, the point which we want to highlight is that the government's intent may be noble to cover fraudulent cases, but they have made the law so much wide, be it registration or offense penalty provisions, that this is likely to be misused. So taxpayers need to be cautious about that. Coming to the GST returns, so the present system will be that e-invoice details will be auto-populated in GSTR1. Another not so welcome step is that if GSTR 3B is not filed for 2 consecutive tax periods, GSTR 1 cannot be blocked. So it will directly impact the recipient and he cannot be able to avail ITC. Again, e-invoice details will be auto-populated in 2A and 2B. The government has provided a facility for communication between taxpayers, suppliers, and vendors on GST portal. As far as 3B is concerned, the liability will be auto-populated, including ITC and RCM transactions. And yes, Rule 36(4) much talked about, wherever the ITC is not getting reflected or not uploaded by the portal, the government has reduced limit from 10% to 5%. Therefore, it will necessitate the need for these reconciliations on a much regular basis. Rule 86B, government has introduced that minimum 1% tax has to be paid in cash. Just a quick glance of Rule 86B, it applies wherever to taxpayers wherever taxable supply exceeds 50 lakhs. These exceptions are very important. So the situations which are not applicable in our view, these are very wide. So many taxpayers will be outside 86B, wherever the taxpayer himself, MD, whole-time director or partner has paid income tax exceeding 1 lakh in last 2 years, which will be satisfied by many taxpayers, or he has received refund of unutilized ITC of more than 1 lakh, or he has discharged output tax liability of 1% in a financial year. And lastly, the government departments, PSU, local authorities, statutory bodies, they will be outside the purview of 86B.
So Puneet, I'll add just one thing. If you look at this whole IT mechanism of GST returns, and you study the corresponding amendments, now wherever there is a mismatch of ITC, or you have availed excess ITC, or you have an inconsistent turnover in GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B, the officer now has got the power to suspend your registration or cancel your registration. Now, suspension and cancellation seems to be a procedural thing, but the real business impact of this suspension and cancellation is that you will not be able to generate your e-invoice, and you will not be able to generate your e-way bill, which means effectively your complete supply chain will be impacted if, because of these mismatches, the department chooses to take an action of suspension or cancellation of your registration certificate. So now in this electronic era, this reconciliations and timely reconciliation, I would say, are going to be a very important if you simply wanted to run your procurement and supply chain under GST.
Yeah. So very valid point, Gaurav. So both from a supply chain perspective on the output side, as well as from the recipient perspective, the government is tightening all the things, and even genuine taxpayers are likely to get impacted. Another important point, so this departmental GST audits and why it is relevant is that for 17-18, the last date of filing 99C was 31st January 2020. The government has prescribed time limit of 3 years under Section 73, which ends in January 2023. So any show cause notices, etc., which they have to issue, that has to be issued and concluded by January 23, and 3 months adjudication procedure is prescribed. So if we reduce 3 months from January 23, all the show cause notices need to be issued by October 2022. Being first year of GST, there are likely to be difference of opinions, disputes, etc. So that's why in this year and next year, we'll see significant heat coming up in these departmental audits for them to fulfill limitation. Various state governments have issued guidelines. So the procedure will be that Form ADT1 will be issued where audit officer can sort information. The standard checklist includes financial statements, input output summary, cancelled invoice, credit note, debit note details, transfer details, etc. Audit will be conducted at taxpayers' place of business. Very importantly, the law prescribes that it needs to be completed within 3 months of initiation, and initiation will be considered when taxpayer has provided the documents. So considering first year of GST, way forward, what we suggest is that the taxpayer should be ready with all these documents, information, reconciliations, etc. And it will be good that either internally or through an external professional, they get a pre-audit review done to see everything is in order or not.